Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Weekends on AM 1170. The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty. Joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall with Team Home Loans. And we've got Lawrence Mudgett with Safer Law in studio. And so, Jason, you were... Actually, let me tell my story first, then I want to hear about your recent rental. So, Airbnb. Where this came from is a couple guys. There was a conference in their city, and all the hotels in their city had sold out. And people were trying to figure out, like, where the hell do we stay? Every single hotel is booked. Like, we don't want to stay 2 hours away from this conference. And they were like, we got some extra space in our place. Like, why don't we just offer it up for some people to crash with us? And they threw a post out there, and a ton of people wanted to stay with them. And so they blew up a couple air mattresses and threw them in the living room, or air beds. Threw them in the living room.
That's why it's called air.
Yeah, threw up a couple air beds in the living room. And people crashed with them. And they were like, oh my gosh, this could be a thing. And they started to do more and more of this.
And B&B has been around for hundreds of years. There's always been bed and breakfast.
And they were like, well, what if these guys stayed with us? And then we could actually like show them like some of the things about the city, some of the fun things to do, places to go eat and all that stuff. And, kind of like a bed and breakfast does. And that was how Airbnb was born. It's from the airbed.
Wow.
So it was combining an airbed in their living room with like the bed and breakfast, like let us show you what to do to have fun around here. And that's how Airbnb was born.
Yeah, my son literally Googled it, I think, on the Sunday drive out there or sometime during our trip here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, on, Airbnb and how it started. And he just saw one article. But that's interesting, right? So it makes me think of this. So about my daughter's 27. I think she was probably about 15. It's about 12 years ago. We were in a travel softball group. And we were qualifying for nationals, had to go to Kentucky. Now, I forget even what little city in Kentucky, but this was some little poke city. And the hotel rooms, because they brought all the national, teams there, every hotel room was booked. So what do you think these rich hotel owners do? Well, the rooms that are normally $100 a night, we were paying $600 a night for a regular hotel room. All right? And we brought in 12 girls in at least 8 families, right? It was absolutely insane. And when I got there was no Airbnb really out yet. I asked a couple of the old guys that came watch the game. I'm like, hey, if I would have offered you, hey, can I rent your home for a week for like $1,000? She's like, yeah, you could have had mine and my brother's, house. We both would have gave you for $500 each. I'm like, really? Because I told them how much we were paying and they were laughing at us, right? So that's something to think about. These hotel people are not telling you everything, right? Just like the NFL owners have always been given a hard time. They're saying they're losing money when they're, still flying G4s and doing all their stuff. They've been saying that for years. Well, the hotel owners, which happen to probably be some of the NFL owners, aren't really giving us the full truth. And as a conservative, it disappoints me that we got a lot of the politicians just playing into the money.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So I actually signed a short-term rental with HomeAway. First time on it last week. I actually signed up on it Friday. It used to be apparently VRBO, Vacation Rentals by Owners, and did a short-term rental. Everything signed on e-sign. It was his very first one. It was a great experience. But you were saying in the break, Lawrence, that people don't realize you let somebody stay at your house, it's hard to get rid of them.
Absolutely.
So you better sign some agreements.
Sure. Even if you sign the agreement, it's still potentially an issue. And kind of preparing for today, I was looking at a lot of the forums last night, and they said, oh, as long as they're in for less than 30 days, you can just throw them out. And that's not the case. You can call the police if your Airbnb tenant refuses to leave. I would wager the vast majority of folks are good folks, and they're not looking to game anything. But if you get one of these bad apples in there and the police say, well, we're not going to do anything, you're going to be calling a guy like me to file an eviction.
You remember Pacific Heights, Michael Keaton?
Yes.
Google that, you millennials. Pacific Heights, Michael Keaton. An absolute wonderful movie, landlord movie, came out in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. You need to be careful who you let into your home.
That's the key. Be very, very careful about who you let in your home. And he talked about the distinction between home sharing versus renting out, and particularly in those home sharing arrangements where the owner lives there too, that's where it can get so bad. And, I've been seeing more and more. I've been doing a lot of landlord side work lately, and what these tenants get away with would just blow your mind. I'm not talking about advocating tenants' rights or anything legitimate. It's just pure delay, filing motions that have no legal basis whatsoever just because it takes time to hear them. Okay.
They just want free rent. They want a free iPhone.
Free rent.
They want a free Uber. They want a free everything.
You owe them.
And they don't want to go serve to keep our freedom.
Right.
But they want to be free.
Absolutely. The multiple bankruptcy filings. So, okay, someone does a bankruptcy, it happens. And then I've had cases, guy files like 4 and 3 months. There's no basis for that. It's all just to create delay. The thing, too, people do is now these federal removal actions. They will remove your state court eviction case to federal court. You got to go get a remand order sending it back. Depends on the judge. Some do them quicker than others. But, and there's no shortage of outfits out there that coach these people how to cheat and game the system.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And they'll take your money and they will just, it's all bad faith. And really there's no accountability because the folks who do this don't really have anything. So even if at the end of this 6-month nightmare, you're vindicated and you get your money judgment, go collect $1 on it. Good luck.
So be careful. Make sure you don't let anybody in that you don't know really well. But Kyle Whissel, the top agent here in San Diego, per the team statistics on the Wall Street Journal for the last 4 or 5 years, and you own a ton of rental properties. What's your take? And have you had any horror stories getting somebody out as we wrap up the show?
Oh, man. My worst horror story was in Buffalo, New York. Where I bought some property there. And so the numbers when you go out of state can be very attractive on the surface. I bought a 4,200 square foot 3-unit building for, I think it was like $42,000. Wow. It was ridiculous. 3 units, like all 3 bedrooms. And it was in a rough area. I knew that. But I had
Buffalo because your family's from Buffalo. So
inner
it's not
city
like
Buffalo and like the suburbs of Buffalo are two completely different places. So I bought this property and everything was good. And one of the ladies who lived there kind of ran the neighborhood. She was like the queen of the neighborhood. Unfortunately, she decided to move out for whatever reason and move her palace somewhere else. And once she moved out, person who moved in was selling drugs, scared the other tenants off. Then they ended up squatting in the property. And this is such a rough neighborhood where like the police don't even want to go down there. Like unless there's a murder, they don't really go down there. So this person squatted on the property forever. I have some family with connections out there, and they had to go in and physically remove these people because going through the legal process just wasn't going to work out there. We had these people removed. And while they were there, they had stripped everything, all the copper plumbing, all the fixtures, broke all the windows, everything. So I paid somebody to fix it all, and then we flew out there to go take a look at the finished product before I cut a big check to the contractors.
And surprisingly,
we showed up Friday night, and we had a plan to meet there Saturday morning, and I showed up, and I was like, the hell, the door's wide open. And I don't even want to get out of the car at this point. So I wait for the property manager. They carry there. So I wait for the property manager to show up, and we open the front door, and there's just like 2 feet of water in the property. Every single window's busted, and the back half of the property's gone. They burnt the house down the night before. Like literally while I was in town, they burnt the house down. Crazy.
Karma.
And then I tried to hire a realtor to help me sell the house. No realtor would touch it.
Yeah, because they're
and they
scared
were
of the
like,
neighborhood.
just put it on Craigslist. Some sucker will buy it and think they can rehab the house. I sold it for $3,000 on Craigslist.
Oh my gosh.
And 2 weeks later, they came back and burnt the rest of the house down. Wow. And I went back to Buffalo last year, tried to find the house, and I was like, oh, I missed the address. Like, where the hell's the house?
Gone.
It's just dirt. Because you can't rebuild, right? 4,200 square foot house is going to cost you, even out there, $100 a foot is going to cost you $400,000 to rebuild it, and now it's maybe worth $100,000. So you don't even rebuild. Now this person owns a piece of dirt in inner city Buffalo.
Well, here's what I know.
And they got to pay taxes.
I know we
on
had
it.
an amazing show. So thank you, Kyle and Lawrence. What an amazing day today. A lot of good information. If you missed anything, where can you go to find it?
Yeah, if you guys missed it or you want to watch the show ever, Facebook Live on the Whissel Realty page. You can always check it out there. If you want to get connected with myself or any of the guests we've had on the show, shoot me a text. Give me a call, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. Thanks so much for listening to the show. I'll talk to you next Saturday.